Hey guys, what happened to Transact Card? People went to bed on a Friday night, they woke up Saturday morning, Transact Card disappeared. At least that's what it looks like over at Behind MLM and on Reddit when you read through the threads. But what is the true story? What are some of the real facts behind what's going on? We're going to cover that in this full video. Guys, my name's Troy Dooley. I'm the Beachside CEO, and I've been covering the Transact saga for several months now. I have friends that are inside of corporate. I have friends that are in the field. And as we've watched this, I've raised concerns on whether or not network marketing, franchising, banking, real estate REITs actually should be going together. Do they fit together as a business model? Because to me, it's almost like crypto and MLM. It's nitro and water. It doesn't fit. But in covering this, we do see some major changes now that Transact Card, from what we can tell, what we've gathered through talking to insiders, looking at some of the corporate filing and stuff that's out there, it seems that FinMore has purchased or acquired in some fashion the assets of Transact Card. But the liability of Transact Card, the liabilities for refunds, the liabilities for merchant processing, all of that stays with Transact Card. The other thing that we've been able to comprehend is that Richard Smith will not be moving forward with FinMore. Now they've already removed Bill Andreoli from Transact. Richard Smith had been put into the field. Jared Moss, I don't know where he fits into play. I'm not sure. I know that this is a pure cleanup mess, and I've talked about this, so this is nothing new. If you're going to be in the banking business, if you're going to be in franchising, if you're going to be in anything that's regulatory, heavy licensing, then you've got to have an impeccable background. I know when I got in my trouble with the SEC a decade ago, that was one of my big concerns, is I won't be able to sit on the public board or boards of publicly traded companies. That didn't transpire, but I had to go through a lot of disclosures to get those seats on those boards. So it's the same type of principle here. But moving forward, there's some positive stuff that I've been able to get that you might not see on Reddit, or you might not see on Behind MLM or any of these other websites, because they don't cover it. We're covering everything. We've covered the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, if FinMore, which now is going to be the new entity, they've got the same passion, the same vision that Peter Rancy, who controls this new entity too, set up just like the old. It's an entity controlled by a trust. Peter is in charge of the trust from what we've been able to gather, and that's the way this works. If that's the case, then his social crusade, we call this conscious capitalism, is still in play. It's still intact. He wants to bring the same services, the same benefits, the same excitement that people get in the banking business and the franchise to Main Street America, specifically the underbanked or the unbanked, people that can't go in and get loans, people that can't go in and get bank accounts, people that can't go in and have the same services that other people can. And this is a big deal in the United States. I've covered this in other videos. It's something that you can watch and pay attention to. But this is where I want to talk about FinMore. This is the excitement about this. Richard Smith will not be moving forward with FinMore. The goal here was to clean up the company, to realize that there are certain people that can't go with us if we want to see our dream come true. And that's just the way it's given. We've covered that. I'm not gonna talk about that here. It looks like there's a potential for 8 banks to come on board with FinMore. I'm going to be digging deeper into that. We don't know what these banks are for. We don't know if it's part of the credit cards, part of the all cards, part of the bucks, whatever they get, their loyalty. Don't know, but we're going to find out. Melyn Campbell, love this young lady, and Kimber Matarazzi, I think I said that right. They're going to be like in charge of this new company. Mel is going to be the chairman, if you will, or co-chairman. And look, she is wonderful. I love her husband, Steve. I count them as friends. We have broken bread together. I've been in their home. I've seen the passion they have when they were in the field and when they ran their own company. I have spent extensive time with them to know where their passions lie when it comes to helping people. That's what their life has been. An expert in compensation structure. Matter of fact, even when she owned her own company, she was still doing compensation work for other companies because people rely on her and respect her when it comes to that. She's also one that cares about people in a huge way. Kimber comes from the Gunther Rinker Association, so knows about training, knows about marketing, knows what you can and can't do. I love the combination of this. And one thing else that I'll say is men sometimes just cut people off at the knees. Women have a tendency of guiding people. So I think they're going to be able to look at the fintech compliance, they'll look at your regular consumer compliance that we get from the FTC, look at the regulations with the SEC. They'll be able to put education together that's going to help you build a business if you're over there. Now, people have asked me all weekend long, Troy, are they going to make it? What's happening? Is it true what we're seeing that Transact Card exploded? No, I don't think so. I think this is a business decision. I think this is a way of saying, okay, how can we clean this mess up? We keep going to the banks. We want the banks to be our partner, and the banks say we can't be your partners when you got all this crap going on. And that's what it is. Remember, let's go back to the beginning. They dumped a bunch of databases together to create the Transact Card database. And then people started recruiting. There was no KYC. Then you bring in Canaway. I really doubt that Canaway did the KYC with the new company, so you put that database in there. You've got to have KYC. It's a federal law. So when you start putting this together and you can't get your KYC, when part of your team at corporate goes through the KYC and then questions come up with red flags, it's a problem. So what do? Take and launch a new company. So if they go through there, they're going to parlay that down. They're going to be able to have a clean database to go build a business with, and I think that right there is going to be beneficial. Will they make it? I don't know. My good friend Brent Standing, who's been their CTO, man, he's one of the best I've ever met. He's done some great things with large companies, and that boy knows cybersecurity like the back of his hand. So if anybody can put this together or has put it together, it would be him. And I can see Brent looking at him and saying, look, if you're going to do this, you need to do it right, not be a hodgepodge of stuff. So it's positive. Looking at what else we've got here, I would say that out of that 150,000 they have in the database, probably most of them are on standby right now. They're wondering if it's going to work. Is it not going to work? Well, here's what I would say. Look at what worked at Transact Card, and you know that's probably going to work at FinMore. I know travel had been working. I know some of the discount purchasing had been working. So that's a start. If all of your credit cards can work to earn your FinMore bucks or whatever they call them, that's a positive right there. That's great. There's going to be no more $50 monthly fee for technology, marketing, whatever they call it. That's gone. That's going to be a positive right there. Transact Card is going to keep all of its liabilities, so they're going to be still honoring refunds. They're going to still be working with merchant processors. That makes sense since Peter Rancy is in the banking business. So you want to keep those relationships. You don't want to make a mess of it. And you can now, they say, use all of your credit cards. So where do we go from here? Will this work? Will it not work? Don't know. It is a big endeavor whether you had a compensation plan tied to it or not. But what I do know is I have full confidence in the women now that are going to be running this. Melyn Campbell, Kimber, they're going to be able to put this thing and say, okay, let's move this forward in the right direction. Let's put together what our years of expertise has. And one thing I know about Melyn Campbell, if there's anything that isn't going to be correct, if there's anyone that doesn't listen to what she's telling them based on her years of experience, she'll tell them, I'm done, I'm gone. My family is what's most important to me. Her kids, her grandkids, her husband. She's not going to put her reputation on the line just to make a dollar. She doesn't need it, to be quite honest with you. And I'm not going to go into their financial picture, but she doesn't need to be doing this. She's doing this because she really does love people. She loves a challenge, and this is definitely a challenge with a lot of people that she can love. So pay it forward. Always be looking to find the positive in what you can and learn from the negative. Don't be out there trashing companies. Don't be doing all that. Always be moving forward so that you can get this right. Live life like it's an epic adventure. We'll see you on the next one.